This YouTube channel is not monetized. It never has been and it never will be. It's about sharing information for the model railroading community. However, if you'd like to donate to the River Mountain Model Railroad, just go ahead and scan the QR code and it'll link you to my PayPal account where you can make a donation. Hello and welcome to the River Mountain Model Railroad. I'm Terry and I'll be your host. We're nearing the end of August 2025, so I thought I would bring you up to speed on some of the things that have happened here on the Model Railroad. Well, I'm not a tech-savvy person, but it seems like everybody is tinkering with AI, or artificial intelligence these days, so I thought I would give it a try. For my particular desktop computer, I have Copilot, so I was tinkering with Copilot to create some logos for the River Mountain Model Railroad. Now, not everything goes well, especially on the first couple of tries, and it does take some time for AI to try and figure out what you're trying to do. So I took one of my signature photos of a car that I built and took pictures of it on the diorama, and this is what AI came up with for a logo for the River Mountain Model Railroad. I think it turned out pretty good, and I actually had some stickers made. So these are 3-inch stickers, die cut, to the shape of the River Mountain Model Railroad, and I think they turned out pretty good. So if you're interested and you'd like a sticker, please, drop your address, including city, state, and zip code down in the comment section, and I'll be glad to either mail you one or trade you one, because I know that there's some other people out there that have pretty much done the same thing and tinkered around with AI and came up with a logo for their model railroad. So here's my rendition. Since we're tinkering with AI and making logos, I took it one step further. I thought, what the heck? Get a Hawaiian shirt made up. So here is a Hawaiian shirt that I made up through Amazon or one of the vendors on Amazon, and sent them an image of the logo for the River Mountain Model Railroad and had a Hawaiian shirt made up. I was hoping to have this done by the St. Louis RPM, but unfortunately I wasn't able to do that. Took a couple of weeks longer than expected, but next year for sure I will be wearing this to RPMs so that everybody can take a look at it and hopefully get a good laugh or a chuckle out of it. On the last video I mentioned that 9807 was having some running or operational issues. So when I took it apart to see what was going on, I discovered that half of the drive axle gears were broken. I got those in, and after a couple of months of making a few minor repairs, checking all the wiring and the solder connections, doing some light weathering, 9807 is back running on the layout. The concept for the weathering or the light weathering was from a prototype picture that I found, and I actually have a picture of it hanging on the layout here, or in the train room. You can see the prototype picture there. I kind of like the idea of the tanks. The air tanks are primered or different colored, almost like it just came out of the shop. They didn't have time to paint it. Needed to get the locomotive back on the rails so it could start making some revenue runs. But that was my concept and idea behind some of the light weathering for this. I think the air tanks turned out pretty good, the light weathering, and we'll take a look at the roof in the front and the back. I'm going to move the light around here just a moment so you can take a look at the front. Here's a shot of the light weathering on the front, and at the same time I added some small details. I added these rubber air hoses, which 20 years ago on an Athearn ready to run locomotive, they didn't have these detail parts. So I got high-tech detail rubber air hoses and installed them on the front and the back to give it a little bit more detail. I'll go ahead and turn the lights on here for you so you can see the lights are operational. Union Pacific does not run flashing ditch lights, with the exception of a few SP locomotives that they acquired many years ago. But for the most part, when the headlights are on for a UP locomotive, so are the ditch lights. You can see that the lighting is still working. So I'm going to hold the camera and give you an idea of some of the light weathering, some of the rust on the cab and the roof. So basically, sun bleached, blistered, and sitting out in the sun after all of these years. Did a little bit of light weathering there of black wash. A little bit of rust on the roof there. You can kind of see the nose a little bit where that sun has been beating on that for a little while. The same thing here as I'm following prototype pictures to try and give you an idea of the concept. But you know, here is the cab and the roof and the top of the long body to see what the weathering looks like there. Nothing too drastic, you know, just enough to get rid of that plastic look. So last but not least, while at the St. Louis RPM, I picked up a model. This is a Tangent HO scale Trinity Industries 4750 covered hopper. Its reporting marks are for the DGHX, which is, believe it or not, actually a subsidiary of a short line railroad over in central eastern California called the Trona Railway. They do a lot of mining for borax and other types of chemicals in the industry. So this is relatively clean for a hopper that's going to be part of that short line railroad, because they definitely have some rust bucket beaters over there on that short line railroad. This particular model is not listed on his website, but he did bring a couple to the St. Louis RPM, so I couldn't resist to get one. And this is actually the only thing that I purchased at the St. Louis RPM. So I mean, most of you know I'm kind of got a soft spot for, you know, rib-sided covered hoppers, particularly in 4750 cubic foot. So I picked this up at the St. Louis RPM. It's a nice model. It runs great. As you can see, I already got it on the layout running. The details are absolutely wonderful, and wouldn't expect anything less from Tangent. So it looks pretty good. The details are good. No broken parts. Well, that pretty much does it for this update. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. And as always, thanks for watching.